So hello everyone, my name is Dr. Hussain John and I'm currently a prosthodontics resident at a college in Maharashtra. So in the previous video I had discussed about the state and the practicality of the Indian dental conferences, but I wanted to delve deeper into the scientific program that happens in these colleges, in these conferences, maybe at some colleges or some other events. So I'll begin. Let me preface this by saying that I have attended a decent amount of conferences and I have won a paper at a best poster at a national level conference and a prize for a paper at a regional conference. So all the and this is my take on how you should present a paper or a poster and how you should present yourself at a conference, given that I have done these things. So this is my take on it, and you can have your own spin of it. I would recommend to you to have your own spin on it. That's how it all will work. So let's start by asking the question: what is a paper and what is a poster? A paper is basically a PowerPoint presentation made in a certain way, while a poster is a single slide of a PowerPoint presentation in a PPT or a PDF format. Basically, a single slide of it, again made in a certain way. Now the main thing is the content should be scientific because it's in the name. It's a scientific program. The content should not be from any random resource. It should be from validated sources. What I mean by that, that brings us to the next subheading, which is how to prepare. This is going to be general guidelines for both paper and a poster. Then I'll delve deeper into how to prepare a paper and how to prepare a poster. So these are just general guidelines. So the content that you are putting in your paper or your poster should be from sources like journals, like books, official communication, and not just Google. Because that data should be that resource should be backed by scientific data and not just any random source. You can take data from certain validated websites, but not directly from Google. And the second thing is the type of content that you can present is basically research items. By research items, I mean a literature review, a systematic review, a case report, or a case series, or a study you're doing. Maybe let it be a questionnaire-based study or a RCT or any other clinical trial. And you just cannot put any random information there. The third thing would be I would not recommend to use someone else's presentation or someone else's content without their permission. Of course, you can use articles and other stuff, but not directly their presentation or just their particular one single article. You just cannot put it in your presentation if you do not have permission from the author. Let's say there's an article that's not open access and you're presenting just that particular article as your own. You cannot do that. You can reference them, but you cannot present it as your own. Let's say even if you have the permission of that author, I would recommend to get it clarified by the scientific committee that is responsible for organizing the scientific program at that conference or the event. But still, I wouldn't call it a great practice to have. The other thing is your topic. I would recommend it to be a clinical topic because from what I have seen, from the little presenting experience that I have, that the clinical topic is given much more respect and significance than just a plain literature review or just a very small hot topic that a lot of people do present. Now the other thing is you need to be in contact with the scientific committee and get it cleared if it's okay. If it's not mentioned, they'll release a certain amount of guidelines before after you register, before you register on the website, or they'll have intimated earlier that these are the guidelines that you should follow for your paper and poster presentations. So if they haven't mentioned about this particular thing, you should get it cleared from them should you mention the name of the authors and the guide of the presentation, because most conferences would like most programs or the most presentations usually should not have the name of author and the guide because of the anonymity. Unless you're anonymous and your name and college, if the name of your guide is not mentioned there, the jury cannot be unbiased. So get it cleared but some scientific programs at some conferences want you to mention your your details, your name and college. So get it cleared beforehand. And other thing is many of these conferences have a certain theme, and let's say it's innovation in a certain thing, or something related to implant dentistry, or any other thing. So base your paper or a poster on this particular theme, because it has marks when the judges are actually judging it. So it will be good practice to follow the theme of the conference. Now these were some general tips. The other thing would be, I would like to get how to the intricacies of presenting a paper. So the duration that is usually allotted for presenting a paper is either 8 plus 2 minutes or 6 plus 2 minutes. It may be different depending on the what the scientific committee has decided there. So depending on that, you'll make the content in your presentations. Usually there is no such limit of how many slides there should be in the presentation, but I would personally, it would depend on the content and which topic you're taking and what you decide to eventually put in the PowerPoint presentation. But I would recommend you have at least 50. The upper limit would be 35, because more than that it may be difficult to present. Again, that's a personal decision up to you. Now it should be presented in a particular way. So the first slide would obviously be your title, and if they are told to mention your details, you can put it there. The next slide would be table of contents. So the table of contents would be as such. Okay, so you can start with definitions if there are there. If not, you can directly start with an introduction. Then there'll be your methodology, how you have actually made your not your presentation, but your presentation is based on a research item, right? How is that research item been conducted, which has transpired into you presenting that particular thing in your paper. So how that study was done, you have to mention that in your methodology. For example, if it's a literature review, you need to write okay, we used these keywords and eventually found these articles, and how you shortlisted those articles, that should be mentioned. Then if you have a particular topic, and subheading specific to your topic should be mentioned. Then eventually will come your discussion. Then will come your limitations. Now this slide of limitations is very important. I'll get to it in a minute. Then there will be a conclusion, and then there will be your references. So okay, you've written your title, you've written your introduction, definitions, whatever there is, you've written your methodology and your specific subheadings. Then comes your discussion. You've elaborated your discussion quite well. Then comes the limitations. Now in limitations, you need to really write what the biases in your study were, because this is the thing that most jury and most judges ask for and interrogate you on this. And if you own up to, okay, these were the limitations in my study, and we are self-aware about it, they'll think that you know your topic and your content really well. So that is a thing to note. And then comes your conclusion, discussion, limitations, conclusion, and then your references. I would recommend to put it in Vancouver style, because that referencing style is more well known and more used. So try putting your references in Vancouver style. So that would be great. So that is how you actually make your presentation. So some specific tips I have for the paper presentation is, at the beginning you can put a eye-catching quote, not just a random quote, because that would be counterproductive. You can put a great quote at the start and then end it up with that quote after your conclusion. So that will be a whole like an Ouroboros snake. You'll be starting with one thing and ending with the same thing. That will connect the whole presentation, if you can feel me what I'm saying here. So that is that. And obviously smile. No one would like to see a person who is very gloomy and very serious about it. You should be serious in a different way, but try smiling too. And when you're preparing this presentation, every image or every important thing, not every text, but every important piece of text should have a reference at the bottom, not at the bottom of the text, but at some corner of the paper. So that will tell the judges that you have really prepared well, and you're aware that the whole content of my presentation is actually scientific, and the judges will know that it's not just any random content. Now, doing this referencing shows good effort. And the next thing is pick a good theme. Go to some popular websites that give you good PowerPoint presentation ki themes and cut it down to your own presentation ka style. Even for poster you can do this, but we're talking about paper for now. Pick a good fitting theme, make it attractive, but also not too flashy. It's a scientific presentation in the end, but there's no harm in making it attractive. There's a difference between making it attractive and making it flashy. Flashing hurts the eyes, attractive is solid. So, yep. And one of the main thing is choosing your topics wisely. Avoid general topics. I would suggest pick a popular topic and go in the niche of it. Like let's say we're talking about dental implants. You just can't talk about dental implants. You have to go into niche of it. Like there is some new abutments. There is uh, a customized healing abutment in it. So pick a general topic and try to go deeper into that. Try searching for articles about it, and then eventually you can woo the judges, and the judges will be like, okay, I know about dental implants, I know about this topic, but there is so much the presenter has presented the stuff, the content in so much depth, and I didn't know this particular thing existed. So you can woo the judges by actually going into niche of a particular topic. Okay, and you should avoid using a lot of text, 5 to 6 sentences max in a particular slide. More charts, more images, schematics. If there are good hand-drawn diagrams, try putting that in. And these are just general tips. You can have your own variations in it. I'm sorry. So, okay, that's done for the paper. And now we'll talk about the posters. So, for the timing for the posters is usually 3 plus 2 minutes or 4 plus 2 minutes. I'm sorry. So when I'm talking about 3 plus 2 minutes, I think I forgot to mention even for the poster, even for the paper, it was like 8 plus 2 or 6 plus 2 minutes, right? So the first digit, like if we're talking about poster, 3 plus 2 minutes, those 3 minutes is the time you will be speaking, and 2 minutes is what the judges will get to ask you questions. But mind you, this is not always followed. So the time for you would be, of course, that particular time only. But for the judges, that 2 minutes is not usually 2 minutes, because of course they're the higher authority in that situation, right? So the people who are in charge of the scientific program, they usually give them as much time as they want to ask you those questions. So be prepared for it. And let's say your presentation goes for like 2.5 minutes, there may be a bell that the program committee members will ring to remind you, okay, your presentation is ending. If you go beyond that, your marks should be cut. So that's what happens. So more in the poster, uh, some things would be, so the main thing about presenting a poster is that you have to uh, present a lot of information in a condensed form. So there'll be less text, more tables, charts, and diagrams. So that's the main funda of presenting a poster. It's not easy, but that's the art that you should master. Lots of information in a condensed form. Now, some tips that I have for actually presenting this poster is your font and theme should be again beautiful, and you should be selective with your diagrams and information that you are actually presenting. And again, you can follow a similar format. A poster, you are more flexible with the headings that you actually put. You can put an introduction, methodology, discussion. You can also have a different approach of presenting diagrams, images, and just the important stuff there. So you get more leeway in poster, not so much in paper. And the format of the poster can be varied. Some conferences like to ask the participants to present it in a portrait form, while some like to ask the participants, which is the most common. The landscape format is more common than the portrait format, but get it cleared from the scientific committee prior to actually making it. Okay, so this was about the paper and the poster. Now, what happens prior to uh, actually making your paper and presenting it? So you've registered for a conference or an event, and you will need to submit your abstract. Now, what is an abstract? Abstract is basically like a summary of the presentation that you'll be giving. It can be between 100 to 250 words, depending on again what the committee wants you to do. And it may be structured, it may be not. The abstract may be structured, non-structured. So you need to find out that as well. Usually, a non-structured abstract works as well. And some conferences again like to some scientific programs and conferences or the events also like would may ask you to submit your paper or your poster in advance, so you need to do that if they ask for it. So after you're done preparing your presentation, you'll be answering questions to the judges, which can be daunting. It's not that daunting, I believe. So when you're preparing the paper, you can ask for a guide, or you'll get an idea of what the expected questions will be. So you can revise those questions prior, and what the questions what usually asked are based on the recent advances, or what is happening in India or what's happening in abroad, and yeah, stuff like that. And when answering, you should know your judge. If the judge is just there to actually interrogate you for the, you can have an idea ki you can judge your judge, you know what I mean, if he actually wants to extract knowledge from you, or does he just want to test your confidence. You can answer according to that. Now the judges, they have a sheet in their hand, and this is how they score. Usually this is how they score. The first point would be on the content and the relevance of your uh, presentation. The second would be the beauty of it, how you made it attractive and all. The third would be presentation, how you have presented it yourself and the presentation. The fourth would be if your topic follows the theme of the whole event. And the five would be how you answered the questions of the judges. So the last thing would be how you should dress up, and this is not really a subheading, this is just what I wanted to say. This is a very subjective thing. What I've noticed is the more professional you dress, the more formal you dress, the judges think the more serious you are about actually making a good impression and actually giving a good presentation. So a good blazer would look great, a good suit would look great, and you have to take care of basic hygiene things like hair and a good watch. And you should look serious, but not too serious. You should smile. You should appear like you are there to actually do something, and not just appear ki you're just there and you just are doing this because just cause. And the final thing that I wanted to say is you should not focus too much on winning something at the conference. Of course, you should be hopeful, but it puts a lot of pressure on you if you're thinking that you have to win something. I believe you should enjoy the whole process of it. I have been that person who always thought ki, "Yeah, I should win, I should get this, I should get that." But when I start focusing on actually winning, that's when I actually won something at a conference. That was the first time. Winning is great, it gives you dopamine, and that's what people live for. I get that. But you should enjoy the process, give your best, and enjoy the adrenaline you get after you, during when you present, and actually when you get off the stage as well. And in the end, you should feel proud that you have contributed something to the conference and developed a thoda sa scientific acumen. And if you have made an article of what you have presented, then you can eventually publish it and contribute to the scientific community in general. And maybe other people will get inspired. Maybe people will get inspired from what you have actually done. I think that was pretty much it. I would recommend, if you're going for your first conference, best of luck. Present a paper, present a poster, present whatever, but do present. It's a great experience and you'll be proud you did that. So I'll try to put some references of a few papers and posters, or what I'll do is put my ResearchGate profile downstairs, and you can search if get a reference of a paper or a poster and how to actually make them. So yes, thank you for watching. Yep.